A few years ago, if someone in Indonesia pulled out a Chinese product, the reaction was simple: ugh, made in China. But just recently, a 20-year-old Indonesian student said something that I genuinely haven't been able to shake. He said to me, China is like the future. And the wild part, even, he was surprised. He said, today, we're not talking politics, we're not talking trade wars or geopolitics, we're talking about something that's been quietly happening on the streets, in the malls, and on the phones of young people across Southeast Asia, and most people haven't fully clocked how deep it goes. Chinese brands are reshaping how an entire generation thinks about China, and they're doing it with bubble tea, hot pot, and electric cars. Let's start in Jakarta, Indonesia's capital, nearly 11 million people, one of the biggest cities in Southeast Asia, and in the last 2 to 3 years, something subtle but significant has been happening there. BYD electric vehicles are on the roads. Mixue, that's the Chinese bubble tea chain, has a store in almost every shopping mall. Haidilao Hot Pot has queues out the door, and TikTok's live shopping model is penetrating Indonesian consumer habits at a speed that's honestly hard to keep up with. A 20-year-old student named Kevin put it simply: it happened so fast. Chinese brands, cars, drinks just flooded into our country, and I didn't even notice until they were everywhere. He told us that when he starts earning, his first big purchase is going to be a Cherry hybrid SUV, not because of any political sentiment, but because it looks good and it's half the price of comparable foreign brands. So what actually happened here? For decades, China was the world's factory. Vacuum cleaners, umbrellas, flip-flops made in China was everywhere, but Chinese brands barely existed in the consumer consciousness. People bought cheap goods, they weren't buying into a brand. That started to crack about 5 years ago. Chinese companies stopped just manufacturing for others and started building their own identities, investing in design, in technology, and crucially in sectors that represent the future: EVs, solar, advanced electronics. And when these brands began expanding internationally into markets like Indonesia, young, massive, fast-growing, something interesting happened to perception. Take Eski, a 35-year-old debt recovery officer in Jakarta. His job is to repossess motorcycles from people who've defaulted on loans. He told us he's been noticing more and more Chinese brand bikes coming back, not because the bikes are bad, but because so many people are buying them. Statistically, more will default. He remembered what it used to be like. 20 years ago, people would say, "What is this, Chinese made?" We'd basically laugh at the idea of a Chinese car or motorbike. But now he said that's changed. The image of Chinese brands has become positive, and yes, he's also saving up for a BYD. A 27-year-old bank employee named Bramantya said this while eating at Haidilao with his partner. These Chinese cars are the most innovative, they have the most features. This isn't one person's take, this is a generational shift. An Indonesian economist made a point that really stuck with me. He said Korean pop culture, K-dramas, K-pop, used to completely dominate young Indonesians' cultural consumption, but Chinese TV dramas have now overtaken Korean content in popularity. His read: young Indonesians think China is cool because it's wealthy and it has advanced technology. Then there's Restu, 24, who said that after she kept seeing viral videos on social media of China's highways, high-speed rail, and mega infrastructure projects, she felt compelled to go visit Jakarta's Chinatown just to feel closer to it. Her words: before, if we got something Chinese, we'd say, ugh, it's Chinese. Now it's, wow, China is actually kind of amazing. Here in Singapore, I felt this shift too. Walk into any mall, and the BYD showroom is impossible to miss. Mixue has stores near HDB blocks, and my social media feed is full of people planning trips to Shanghai and Chengdu. This isn't the story of one company winning a market. This is a whole generation of Chinese brands going global simultaneously, and in doing so, rewriting what made in China means in the minds of young consumers across Southeast Asia. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think this trend continues? Where does the rise of Chinese brands in Southeast Asia ultimately lead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this gave you something to think about, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.